Hello, students and parents of the Muroc Joint Unified School District. My name is Kevin Cordes, District Superintendent, and I want to thank you for tuning in once again. I would like to remind all parents who were here last year, if you still have a Chromebook, to please turn the Chromebook back in so that we can check it back in and we can get it checked back out to your student again, but we do need to take accountability for those. Also, when it comes to free and reduced lunch applications, even if you think that you would not be eligible for free and reduced lunches, we would ask you to please go online and fill those forms out anyway. You may be surprised. And the monies that come in for free and reduced students help us to be able to run programs and to educate children. I want to cover a couple of big topics today before we start school on August 16th. Two of them. The first I want to talk about is independent study. So many of you, especially at Edwards Air Force Base, have tuned into the recent town hall meetings and have heard some of this, but the recent legislation for independent study has changed drastically from anything that it ever was in the past. Over the summer, the state legislature took a close look at the different models that students could attend school. By and large, the state legislature of California wanted in-person instruction only. So our district, in conjunction with several others up and down the state of California, lobbied for a little more freedom and flexibility for students. What we've been given is the option to have a version of independent study. So the distance learning model that we all experienced last year no longer exists. What we have is in-person instruction in a classroom with the distance requirements that we experienced last year being gone. Students do wear masks at all times that they're inside. They may, if they would like, take off their masks when they're outside. That is their choice. And any student that wants to continue to wear their masks outside are welcome to do so and will not be ridiculed about that. And if you bump into any problems regarding that, please let your site administrator know so that we can get right on that. We didn't see any issues of that last year, and I don't anticipate it, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands that we support those that would like to wear a mask at all times while on campus. Teachers will be required to wear a mask inside at all times, and they can remove theirs outside. Anytime that our teaching staff is inside without students present, they may take their masks off. So if you were to come into the office setting and look into the teacher's workroom, for example, and there were no students around, you may see teachers in there who feel comfortable to do so, working with their masks off. They're not in any violation. We are able to do that. But if a student were to come in, they would immediately put their masks back on. So as far as masks go, that's the rules and the regulations that we will be following. Now, independent study is our other method of offering instruction. So you can come to school in a traditional manner, or you can go through what is now the new version of independent study. It is unlike independent study in the past. And I need to make that very clear. This program is designed for students who have exceptional needs. And we would recommend that you send your child to school for in-person instruction. But for those that may have a medical need or some other very specific and serious concern, you can have an independent study model. The way it will run at elementary school is depending on the grade level. Everyone will be assigned a teacher, an independent study teacher, but depending on the grade level, there are no minimal minute requirements that you need to meet with a teacher, but there are requirements that you do have at least some type of weekly encounter with the teacher, at the very least. And so what we would see is some version of office hours for that teacher where you could schedule, work with that teacher for them to be able to meet with your student. But by no means would it be like last year at the end of the year, if you were here with us, where we had cameras set up in a classroom and students were attending virtually with a teacher that was teaching other students. This will be set up in a way so that they truly are in an independent setting. At the high school level, they will be assigned a teacher. They will have the opportunity to meet with an instructor every day for a brief period of time, but the majority of their coursework will be done through Edgenuity. It's an online program we've had for years. It has the coursework that we offer in-person instruction. You can work at your own pace, but it truly is independent. And much more independent of the independent study. So in the past, we offered 3 different models of instruction: in-person, a hybrid type model, and then independent study, which was really capturing more of the traditional homeschool student that wanted to be part of the campus perhaps in extracurricular activities, but wanted to do their instruction at home. Again, the state legislature really pushing for all in-person instruction. We were able to get some flexibility. In all honesty, it's not exactly what we had asked for or wanted, but at least we do have something that we can offer families in those extenuating circumstances. What I would suggest you do is, if you feel that your child meets that criteria and you feel that independent study is something that your child needs, to reach out to your site administrator and begin coordinating. We have sent out surveys. We will continue to do that. We've even refined some of those. Please, please, please fill those out. It lets us know exactly where we are at and how we need to staff for independent study. By way of example, San Bernardino County has recently fully come back, and just a tick over 95% of all of their students are doing in-person instruction. And now I want to talk a little bit about childcare as it relates to Edwards Air Force Base. We are acutely aware that there have been some adjustments made to the options for childcare at Edwards, and we have been working with the base leadership to try to be a bit of a stopgap for that, a way to give options for parents. We understand, recognize, and appreciate the fact that many of our families that work at Edwards may not be able to live at Edwards, and they're in surrounding communities and have always depended on some form of child care. We will be offering an after-school child care program for those families who are on a wait list and are actively trying to get that after-school child care that they've had in the past that just can't get it right now. Applications will be online on our website. You'll have a way to apply to be able to attend. The hours for that would be directly after school and run until 5:30 in the evening, 5 days a week. And it's also our intent that it would be an educational-based program as well, so we can help students with their homework. And our goal would be for the students that need that and that are attending, it will be fee-based, and the fee structure will be coming out. But our goal is that when they leave at the end of that evening and they go home with you, that we have helped them to complete their homework so that you can have the evening as a family and hopefully be able to do so without homework being a part of your night. Now, we'll offer this for students that are in transitional kindergarten through 6th grade. We've never seen a great need for this for students that are in junior or senior high school, and so this is where we are going to begin. We will probably do some refining to this and what we offer, but for right now, we know that families are trying to make decisions as soon as they possibly can. We put out yesterday on our Facebook account a notice to families letting them know that at the very minimum, they can be assured that we will offer after-school child care. If you have any questions about that, beyond that, please feel free to reach out to your school site. And we're working in conjunction with the site principals. We plan to run this out of Branch Elementary School. We have some extra classroom spaces. We'll separate students by age and grade level. So we won't have the big feet with the little feet. We will separate them out. We do have staffing so that we can take care of this. And we will monitor it and do our very best, again, to kind of be that group that can fill that need for the interim period. We're going to say for right now that we're going to start for the first semester. It may go longer, but for right now, we're committing that we'll do this up until the Christmas break. And as we get into the school year, we'll see how things are going and we'll give you updates. Beyond that, we have Brent Tan here with us today. He's going to talk about health-related issues as it pertains to schools. I just want to welcome you back. We'll have videos coming out at least every week again this year. And as we have other information, we will share it with you, even if it's more frequent than once a week. Thank you for joining us. For those families that are in Boron, I should talk about after-school programs. We will continue to have some form of after-school programs there. There'll be more information on that. It won't be running as long and as late as they are on base. These are two completely different issues. But we are grateful to all of you. We are excited and we look forward to this new school year starting. If you are interested in any positions, just to let you know, we have some teaching positions that are open. We also have some childcare positions before school, those campus aide type jobs, and we desperately need some people to come in and fill some of those. At the beginning of school, you'll see myself, you'll see Brent and Trevor and some other folks that come out of the district office will help to fill in where we need to. But especially for families that are new to Edwards, if you're looking for some part-time work, we have it. If you're a credentialed teacher, especially at elementary grade levels, we have some teaching positions that are open, and we would love to interview you and see about bringing you on board as part of our staff. Again, thank you for all that you do. We've hoped that you've had a wonderful summer. Welcome back, and we will see you on Monday, August the 16th.
Hello, my name is Brent Tan. I'm the Assistant Superintendent. I really hope you all had a restful summer. Glad to be back. Excited that school's resuming. As Kevin has mentioned, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the changes to the health procedures. I'm first going to talk about special education as well. I kind of mentioned this in the town hall, but in regards to independent study, any student that is on an IEP and requires independent study, please reach out to your site administrators. We must conduct an IEP to see if independent study is best suited for your child, as well as basically kind of develop a plan for that. I do also want to say that understand, if your child requires independent study on an IEP, this will not be our offer of free appropriate public education. It will kind of be something different, almost like the distance learning plan we created when school was out. But please reach out to your site administrators. We'll conduct an IEP. We'll really work with you in regards to your child and their needs, and we'll kind of go from there. The next thing I want to touch on is the new kind of amended COVID policies and procedures regarding schools. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. What will occur is that the principals will go ahead and kind of disseminate and talk in more detail regarding some of the policies and procedures, but I'm going to go over the big things that have changed. First and foremost, one thing that we are looking to do after assessing our policies and procedures for last year is entrance and egress. In regards to conducting temperature checks at the door, the biggest thing that we want to do is prevent bottleneck as well as congregating. So what we're going to move to is, instead of temperature checks, we're going to go ahead and move to more of a verbal COVID screener. This will allow students to kind of move into the classroom and into campus a bit quicker, and we won't have such a line outside as well. This is not to say we won't be temperature checking. If a student displays any type of symptoms relating to COVID, we will still continue to have our quarantine isolation room. As we've mentioned last year as well, we've really bolstered our medical department. So we do have twice the amount of nurses as well as health aides. We will go ahead and temperature check in the quarantine room and decide if it's COVID related or not. And this kind of leads me to my next topic, where where I mentioned last year, where we're really ramping up and kind of building up our capacity regards to COVID testing. So this year, we are looking to be able to and have the capacity to test all students and staff that display symptoms. So in the next week or so, what will happen is we will be sending out an electronic consent through the California Department of Public Health database and platform to everybody. And this is optional, and I wanted to say this is optional to where if you do consent and give us the authorization to go ahead and test you or your child, then we do have the capability to go ahead and provide a COVID-19 rapid test. And kind of like, as I mentioned last year, the COVID test is not the one that goes up your nose and it's really uncomfortable. This is the one that kind of circles the perimeter of your nostrils. And what we go ahead and do is put it in the reagent, and you should have a definitive answer within 20 minutes. This is something we look to ramp up and we look to provide starting at the beginning of the school year. The next thing I do want to talk about and kind of mentioned, and in a sense it's just piggybacking on what Kevin mentioned about masks, is that for any student or staff that has any medical issues that prevent them from wearing a mask, we will provide alternatives. Things such as face shields with drapes, as well as for students that have communication issues. We do also have the kind of see-through mask, so we're able to see their mouths, and we can, and for individuals that are deaf and hard of hearing, they can see their teachers' mouths as well. The last thing I want to touch about, but I won't go into too much detail, and this is kind of where I'll let the principles disseminate out to you, and we'll probably have it on our website as well, is in regards to quarantine procedures, things have changed. In regards to any student or staff that tests positive, for the most part, the quarantine procedures are the same. What has changed is regarding close contact. So what California Department of Public Health has indicated is now we kind of have moved to where we do have individuals that are vaccinated as well as unvaccinated. So for the most part, if you're considered a close contact, which is 15 minutes or more within 6 feet, and vaccinated, as I said, you will not need to quarantine as a close contact. However, there are different quarantine procedures for the unvaccinated. As we know, we have students that are unvaccinated because it's just not available as of yet. So if a student is unvaccinated and has been masked up in regards to themselves and the person that is positive, California Department of Public Health allows us to go into a more modified quarantine process. However, if you are unvaccinated and both parties are unmasked, then you are not allowed to go in this modified quarantine procedure as well too. So like I said, what will come out is this will be disseminated at the site level. I intend to put this on the website and create a flow chart for everybody to ensure that we're all on the same page and that we're following the recommendations of the CDC, California Department of Public Health, to the T. Other than that, thank you so much for all that you do. I hope, like I said, you had a great summer break, and looking forward to seeing all of you guys, and have a wonderful rest of the week.